Hello. Welcome to the Schemes of Dreams Diwali vlog. I'm preparing for a really big Indian festival that is on the 31st of October. It coincides with Halloween this year, and I'm going to prepare some fun goodie bags for my neighbors. So stay tuned and keep watching. Today is day one, it's Monday. October 28th, and I'm gonna take you along on this Diwali prep journey with me. After a quick trip to Target, we also came to the Indian store to pick up some diyas. Diya is a small lamp. Traditionally in India, we would use earthen lamps and fill them with oil and a wick so we can light them on Diwali. But here I'm picking up some lamps which have wax filling in them, and so they are similar to candles, and that just makes it less messy. Usually I prep for it a few weeks in advance and I get things done, but I was traveling a lot. I was at Rhinebeck, and then last weekend I was in Houston for work, so I didn't get a chance to prep, and I decided that I would do it over the weekdays basically, and I decided I would also vlog the whole process. So I like to, Baljit and I like to share some sweets with our neighbors. We have a lot of neighbors. We live on a cul-de-sac and we love the community here. All of our neighbors are like super sweet, and they help us out quite a bit. And we take the opportunity on Diwali to thank them and to share the festival with them. So I usually make some sort of a sweet, like an Indian dessert, and I also get some goodies and put together sweet, I think sweet basket for them, or like a gift bag for them. And this is very typical of actual Diwali in India. Like this is what people do quite a bit, is share a lot of sweets with friends and family, and so we keep up the tradition since we've moved into this really welcoming neighborhood. You can see one of my friends, actually her daughter made like this cute little diya, which is an oil lamp, for me at school, and I put it up on the cabinet. So I'm just gonna record my process here. Yesterday we went shopping and bought a bunch of stuff. I just got back from the grocery store, and I'm gonna prep a sweet which is called gajar halwa. Gajar is carrot and halwa is something like a pudding. We have different types of carrots in India. There are red carrots and there are orange carrots. I do not find the red carrots in the city where I live, so I just make it with the orange carrots, and it still turns out pretty delicious. So I'm gonna just record my process, and hopefully there is a vlog at the end of this. I will also say that I haven't done a lot of vlogs, so bear with me, this will be a bit choppy. But I think I got a lot of requests for doing this week as a vlog because it's one of the major festivals. I can't do a daily vlog, so I just decided to record the entire week in a single video, and I will share all the little things we do planning for this festival. And it so happens that this year Diwali is the same day as Halloween, so it's kind of a double celebration. We get a lot of children for trick-or-treating here, so hopefully this turns out to be a fun video for you. Today is day 2, and I'm in the grocery store buying some carrots and a few other things I need. So the way I make gajar halwa is by grating, of course, a lot of carrots and then boiling some milk and cooking the carrots in the milk. After the carrots cook really well and the milk pretty much evaporates, then we add sugar and ghee, which is saturated butter essentially, and then we add some nuts. But in this case, I'm gonna garnish the halwa later with nuts because some of my neighbors have allergies and I don't want to mix the nuts into the main dish itself. And then I also add some cardamom powder at the end to give it some flavor. There are a lot of recipes available online for carrot halwa, and I can link the one that I use usually in the description below this video. Hi all, so it's day 3 and I think I'm gonna go to the supermarket now. I wanna buy some ingredients to make cookies, to bake cookies. I do end up adding cookies to the gift bags because not everybody likes Indian desserts, and the textures of a lot of Indian desserts are kind of acquired, like because we've been eating them since we were very little. They taste good to us but not to everybody here. So I do add some chocolates and cookies for that reason, and I'm baking just regular chocolate chip cookies, and I realized that I have most ingredients except baking soda. And also I had picked up containers to put the carrot pudding in, but I feel like those containers are a bit too big and that's way too much portion wise. So I'm gonna see if my local supermarket has some smaller containers that I can use instead. And so those are the two things. And what else? And yes, I'm making another Indian dessert which is called rabdi, which basically is evaporated milk solids with some sugar and nuts in it. And so I need another gallon of milk. So yeah, it's a very lactose heavy gift bag, but most of my neighbors can deal with lactose. We do have some friends who are lactose intolerant, but they are not around this week. So I'm gonna make something for them on Sunday, and you might not end up seeing that, but that's what I'm gonna do essentially. I know this, I can never do anything in moderation. I'm either all in or I'm not interested at all. So this is me being all in and essentially going insane and planning things last minute. And now you can see that I do this with my knitting and in life in general. So this is not just in one aspect of my existence, basically. So yeah, I'll take you along on my journey of prepping for Diwali. So this is all a part of it. Hello. So it's still, I think it's day 3. Is it? Yes, it's day 3. I'm forgetting. So I already made the cookie dough and I froze the dough, and now I'm making rabdi. So rabdi is you take a lot of milk and you boil it down till it's basically milk solids, and you add some sugar, nuts, and some rose water in it, and it tastes great by itself, but it can also be accompaniment to other desserts, and I'm not going to get into those. So right now I'm standing at my gas stove and watching the milk boil, essentially, because you gotta watch it so it doesn't scorch at the bottom and burn. So you don't want the burn taste, but you do want it to like slowly boil away. So I'm being careful about it. So while I'm here and waiting for this to happen, I thought it would be nice to just chat a bit about Diwali in general. As I was saying, Diwali is the Hindu festival of lights, and we light up our house with a lot of lights. We did get someone to put a lot of lights on our house here, and even when growing up, we would light a lot of oil lamps the day off and decorate the house. I think the significance is that maybe I should get a little bit into Hindu mythology and tell you a little story. So I'm not a big religious person, but I absolutely love mythology, and I like to read stories that, you know, traditionally are told no matter what culture. But of course I grew up with a lot of the Hindu stories. So I'm gonna try to tell you a Cliff Notes version of Diwali, and please bear with me while I do this, because the story in my head is in Hindi or in Telugu, which are the two languages I speak. Other languages, like my mother tongue is Telugu, and I also speak Hindi, which is one of the most spoken languages in India, and I have to translate it in my head to English for me to be able to tell you the story in my own words. I could read off a script, but that wouldn't be so natural, so I don't want to do that. So okay, let's begin. A really long time ago, when gods walked the earth, there was a king called Dashratha. He had 3 wives and 4 sons from the 3 wives. His oldest son was Lord Rama. Rama was one of the most principled and righteous men, and I think he is revered now as Lord Rama because he was such a righteous man, and he's like the perfect example how a man should be. He always did everything the way it's supposed to be done. He followed all the rules and he did everything right, and he's a very revered god now. So he was the oldest son of King Dashratha, and King Dashratha was very fond of his oldest son and wanted to name him his successor. So he wanted Rama to be the king after himself. And the youngest queen of King Dashratha was kind of influenced by one of her close friends. So I think typically queens had nannies, you can call them maids, you can call them friends, like women who lived with the queen in the queen's quarters and took care of all their needs. This person kind of misguided the queen and told her that it wouldn't be in her favor if her stepson became the next king. So she asked the queen to convince her husband to name her son the next king. So now there's a backstory to how the queen was able to do that, because the queen had tended to King Dashratha when he was injured in a war, and she kind of nursed him back to life. So he gave her boons, or he told her that she could ask him for whatever she wanted. And so she kind of held on to that boon and didn't really ask for anything until the right time. And then she decided to ask for this boon, saying that the king should name Bharata, that's her son, as the next king, and Rama should be banished to the forest for 14 years. So she asked for this banishment to the forest as a way of making sure that Rama didn't do anything to take the throne back from his brother. But of course, everyone knew that Rama was not that type of a person. He was very obedient, and he did everything his father asked him to. So of course, King Dashratha was very hurt by this whole thing, but he was bound by his word. So he had told the queen back when he gave her the boon that he would do whatever she wanted, and like she could ask for anything. And so he had to abide by that, because in those days your word was law, essentially. So he very reluctantly sent his oldest son to the forest, banished him for 14 years, and named his youngest, not the youngest, but named his third wife's son Bharata as the king. And of course, Bharata himself was very upset by this decision. He was very upset with his mother, and he sort of didn't want to do injustice to his older brother, because rightfully the firstborn would be the next king. But he tried to go and convince his brother to come back, but his brother refused, Rama refused. Because he was an obedient son, and he said that I need to keep up my father's words. So at this time, Rama was married. His wife was Sita, and he was getting ready to go into the forest. And his wife, who was a new bride, she insisted that she accompanies him and she lives with him in the forest. He said he tried to convince her to not come with him, but she of course she said that her place belonged with her husband, and that she didn't want to she couldn't live in the palace, experiencing regular life while he was banished to the forest. So she insisted on going with him, and so did another brother, Lakshmana. So Rama, Sita and Lakshmana went to the forest together, and Bharata tried to convince his brother to not go, but of course he couldn't, and so he decided to rule the land in his stead. So he I think symbolically took his, they are called padukas. There are a certain type of slippers. So he took his brother's slippers and he put them on the throne, and he ruled the country, but he didn't sit on the throne, and he did it for his brother. So this is the background of the story. And the banishment to the forest was for 14 years. That was the stipulated time period. And during this, a lot of things happened, but the main thing was that there was an evil king, Ravana, who lived in the south of the country, and he found out about, I can get into so many tangents because I'm trying to give you the cliff notes, but it's not working out. And I'm telling you all of these details. Anyway, so he kidnaps Sita. So Ravana, who's the evil king, kidnaps Sita and takes him back to his kingdom. And basically the story goes that Rama then assembles army of monkey warriors essentially. So if you must have come across Hanuman, who is the monkey god, and very revered in India. He was one of the most faithful friends to Lord Rama. So he helped him kind of go rescue his wife and everything. So there are a lot of a lot of people or characters in the story, but of course we're not gonna get into all of the details. But essentially what happens is Rama defeats Ravana and is able to rescue Sita and bring her back. And by this time their for the banishment, the 14 years is up, and so they go back to their kingdom. And when they go back to their kingdom, all the people decorate all the subjects or people living in the kingdom who are eagerly awaiting Rama's return. They decorate their houses with a lot of lights and trying to welcome him. So actually the timeline of the story is a little fuzzy to me. I think I've read different versions of it, like it happens with any mythological story. So I believe that some places say that Sita was kidnapped in the 10th year of their 10th year of their exile, and then it took Rama about 3 years or so to rescue Sita. And then some places say that it took them one year and 18 months from killing Ravana to come back to their country. And other places say that they flew back to their country and it took them about 18 or 20 days. So they go back to their kingdom, which I actually never mentioned. This was called Ayodhya, and they go back to their kingdom, and Diwali basically signifies or celebrates the return of Rama, Sita and Lakshmana to Ayodhya. And people celebrated by lighting up their houses and welcomed them back to the country. So of course there are a lot of versions of the story. There are a lot of things that it's one of those things, right? Like you would tell these stories by verbally, right? Like before you could write them down, and so the versions changed, and over, like, I'm no historian, so this is the most popular version of the story, I guess. Popular in the sense most known version of the story. Of course there's a lot of different things that happened during this entire time which I didn't get into, but that essentially is the story of Diwali. I was making rabri while I was telling you the story of Diwali. I boiled the milk completely until it evaporates and only milk solids are left behind. We then add some sugar and some nuts. I added almonds and pistachios. After I turned off the heat, I also add some rose water to the rabri, and then you have to chill it in the refrigerator. I packaged up the carrot halwa and the rabri into separate boxes, getting them ready for tomorrow, and I also baked a batch of cookies. Good morning, it's day 4. Today's Diwali, so happy Diwali everyone. I'm sorry some of the footage was not usable, so I have to do a voiceover. Basically today I am packaging everything into gift bags. I'm labeling the items, and I'm also specifying what the allergens are in the carrot halwa. I decided not to share the rabdi with a lot of people, and I only took it to work for my close friends, and I kept some at home so Baljit and I can enjoy it later. I did package up the cookies and the carrot halwa into gift bags, and we went and shared these gift bags with our neighbors. I didn't take footage of doing that because I got caught up in the moment. I have to say, Baljit and I are very low-key celebrators. We don't do too much. It's mostly about sharing some sweets with friends and family. Last year we did host a party and had a lot of people over, but this year I was too tired from all the traveling to be able to do that. So this year was actually the most low-key Diwali I've ever done, and it worked out because I was able to record this vlog instead. We also prepared the house for trick-or-treaters, so I had candy out and we saw a lot of children come by. We had over 100 kids who came by for candy, and we had a lovely time celebrating Halloween and Diwali together. Hello! So I think that's a wrap on my Diwali vlog. We finished the puja, which is the prayer, and also the trick-or-treating because today is also Halloween, and also we went and dropped the gift bags off at our neighbors' houses. I couldn't get any footage of us doing that because we got caught up in the moment, and I'm okay with that. I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek into my life outside knitting. I know there wasn't a lot of knitting content, but I hope you enjoyed the vlog. This is the first time I did a vlog-like video, so it was kind of fun doing that and seeing how I never remember to record things, and I had to remind myself constantly of that. But it was a lot of fun to do this, and I know a lot of you wanted to. I had asked about doing a vlog, and a lot of you wanted to see this. Baljit and I are very low-key celebrators. People do a lot more for Diwali, but this is a small way that we celebrate. And thank you so much for checking out my video, and yeah, I will see you all later with another knitting episode. Bye.